Lately, it seems that I have more questions to ask than anything else, and this week is no exception. So let's talk about this. Between religiosity and secularism, which is more rational? Shalom, my friends. Yes, that is my question of the week. Is it more rational to hold religious beliefs or to be fully secular? I'm sure many people would quickly say that religion is not rational at all, but as you might expect, I beg to differ. Let's start with the universe. One might say there is no evidence that the universe had a creator, and the only rational belief is to agree with what science tells us about the origins of the universe. Well, guess what? I agree that science tells us things about the origins of the universe that religion does not. What? But I also think the very existence of the universe is evidence of a creator, and the more we learn from science about cosmology, the more we learn about how God created the universe. For my money, the idea that the universe came into being without a creator takes more faith than believing in a creator. But the faith it takes is faith in coincidence. Let's imagine you're walking on a beach and you come across seashells that form the number 10. Hey! Would you believe they simply washed up on the shore, forming a 1 and a 0 next to each other? Or would you think someone arranged them? For me, that's a rhetorical question. The simple number 10 shows intent and meaning. The chances of it happening by itself are incredibly small. If a single number is hard to believe it came into being without an arranger, how much more so is it hard to believe? I would say, how much more irrational is it to believe that something as complex and intricately structured as the universe did? Let's also talk about ultimate moral standards. Is there such a thing? Is murder, not killing in general, which is sometimes necessary, but specifically murder, is murder always immoral? Again, I see it as a rhetorical question. And I want to be clear. I know that the vast majority of secular people believe murder is immoral, but what makes it so? The belief of an individual or the standards of a society? That answer doesn't work. In Nazi Germany, murdering a Jew was not against that society's morality. Saving the life of a Jew was. I don't claim this is proof of the existence of God. But if one argues that there is no God, there is no universal moral authority, the strongest thing that person can say about murder is they disagree with it. I find it far more rational to hold that there are indeed moral absolutes, and that, like the universe itself, they did not come into being from nothingness. They had to have a source. I call that source of moral absolutes God. Let's take one more example, but before I present it, I want to acknowledge that not every secular person holds these beliefs, and that some religious people do hold these beliefs. Although I'll say that if a religious person does hold them, that person is likely bringing secular values into religion. What am I talking about? Well, much of secular society today holds beliefs that include men can give birth, and that men should be allowed to compete against biological females in athletic competition. If that's fair, then why were women's sports created in the first place? There is no rule barring women from playing in the NFL, but there has never been a single female who played in the NFL in the almost 100 years of its existence. If you believe it is rational to say that men can give birth, or that it is fair for biological males to compete against biological women in sports, I beg you to share your thinking in the comments box below the video. Please don't tell me that you hold the belief, but also explain your reasoning. I'm asking this sincerely, as I am genuinely curious to understand your thinking. I could go on to talk about things like the idea that human beings are born inherently good, which is a value of secular humanism. But I fear that this video might already be on the long side. So in conclusion, I will just say that it is not religion that I find irrational, although to me some religious dogma is. And it is not secularism that I find rational, although some secular people and beliefs are rational. I'm talking about generalities, and there are always exceptions to generalities. Once again, if you want to share a different point of view, I invite you to do so politely in the comments box. As usual, I'll end the video by thanking the patrons of this channel and the nearly 700 subscribers we now have. I appreciate each and every one of you. And if you found this video worthy of consideration, or at least entertaining, please do give it that thumbs up on YouTube. Hit that button and consider subscribing if you have not already done so. To subscribe, all you have to do is click on my face right over here. Or watch our last video by clicking on its icon right over there. As ever, until next time, Shabbat Shalom.